What is going on, people? This is Elder Tenchi, and I am with
Nabjita.
And today we're going to be talking about Marvel's Defenders. Basically like the street level Avengers, I guess. Okay, so the hype of...
Mini Avengers.
The mini Avengers. The Avenger... Babies?
Avengers Light.
Avengers Light?
Avengers Diet. Diet Avengers.
Diet Avengers, that is wrong. This has been building up since... Well, basically, since the beginning of this Marvel Netflix side of the MCU, I really, honestly, I gotta say I enjoyed the build up, but was it really worth the hype? And that's what we're gonna talk about today. We both had things that we liked and did not like about each of these solo outings with Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. But as the Defenders, does it work? Does it fit? Does it fit together? Do they have good chemistry together? Can you see them doing more crossovers like this? And I really hope that they do, and I'm not trying to just fanboy out on this and say go watch it. No, I'm gonna take this from the very critical aspect of it. Okay, not too critical, but one thing I loved about the Defenders, my favorites have got to be Jessica Jones and Luke Cage for obvious reasons. They seem to have the most chemistry with each other, and I'm not just talking about because because of their comic counterparts. It just seems like they were.
I talking about because they banged.
I wasn't gonna go there, but okay. I wasn't gonna go there to be honest with you, but yeah, they seem to have the most chemistry, not just because they got together and had coffee, but. But it just seemed like they had a good time with each other. And dang, that sounds wrong. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I didn't mean to shoot.
They definitely had a good time with each other because they won't shut up about it.
I know. But what was your favorite aspect of the solo outings, Nabjita?
Huh?
Like out of the
aspect of what?
Of the solo outings, out of the separate shows before they came together.
Not really much. There's anything that we list as a favorite.
Who do you think had? Okay, all right. Just be honest. Who do you think had the best show?
It's not really a good question for me to answer, but I don't know. I mean, I would probably say Jessica Jones because that's the one I knew the least about.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a bit refreshing to learn more about that particular character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not my favorite character, but like I was okay to know more about
right
lesser known Marvel hero.
This is true. This is true. Mine it's probably got to be Daredevil season 1 and Luke Cage. I loved Jessica Jones because, like you, I didn't know much about her either. Least favorite, Iron Fist.
Well, that's almost unanimous. A lot of people's least favorite is Iron Fist.
But in Defenders,
mine included.
Right. But in Defenders, like I gave that show a shot. And each show had flaws, but this one, they just dropped the ball. But in Defenders,
we're not here talking about that. We're here to talk about Defenders.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because in Defenders, it seems like they kind of made up for Danny Rand's lack of a personality in this one. He seemed like he had developed a little more. and he had more of a purpose, even if he was that kid that's mad at the world for everything, and you had to have complete strangers come together to calm him down, and this whole thing building up with the hand. I had no problem with the hand. Like some people say that Marvel still has that too many villains issue, or those lackluster villains issue. I really enjoyed the leaders of the hand in this. My favorite
villains, they're all the hands.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, the lackluster villains. But that's
what you get when you try to have normal type villains fighting normal type heroes. You're not gonna get the flashy stuff that you're used to. You should have, because according to a friend of ours, the hand is supposed to have more abilities than just be regular people.
Right, regular people that have lived for thousands of years that don't want to die. When I heard that they're in,
and the only one that seemed to have abilities is, what's her name, Madame Yao?
Madame Gao, yeah.
Gao.
Gao was probably the most interesting out of that entire group. Even though I do
Not
like
really the most interesting, but she's the only one that showed any sort of ability.
Besides,
like my said before when I was talking with another friend of ours, she's basically a Sith Lord amongst a bunch of Highlanders.
Which surprises me that she didn't have more of a leadership role. Even though
they all controlled their own
sets,
whatever.
Yeah.
So they're all like, I mean, she wasn't the number one. Oh, maybe she is now. There's not many left.
Yeah. The rest of them had their own agendas and their own egos and everything, but she was willing to follow.
Well, they had the same agenda. They just controlled different parts of the world.
Right. And apparently they've all had their share of coups. I kind of wish we saw that.
No, that would just been unneeded. I mean, who really cares on how they exactly came? They basically told us how they came into power.
Yeah.
And know that, and that's enough. We don't actually have to see it.
And the fact that they've tried to kill each other on numerous occasions, but kissed and made up. But that was the villains. The heroes of the story, basically the misfits, the defenders. I like how when they came together, because of this build up, it didn't seem forced, and the tone switches were welcomed. Like each show had its own tone, just like each movie had its own tone. But when you bring them together, and they're all in different sections of New York, and then they don't meet each other until like the second and third episode, it made sense of how they came together. But they had their funny moments too, like Claire and Luke Cage getting coffee. Yeah, and Jessica Jones, to me, even though she is someone that seems like is hard to be around because she's forever beating herself up, she will always try to help someone, even if she claims she doesn't care about people. And the fact that she was still, putting herself on the line for this family, it speaks volumes, and that's why I love her show. What'd you think, Nab?
Well, you already know my main, one of my gripes, but I'm gonna say it again. I found it very annoying, especially that everyone else was, thinking that it was crazy with how he got his abilities by fighting a dragon. Like, I would expect at least Daredevil to be skeptical, but Jessica Jones should be the least skeptical because she dealt with Kilgrave.
Yeah.
And that story sounds unbelievable when it was happening.
Yeah. But it happened to a bunch of people.
Right. No, I'm talking about her personal history of Kilgrave when she was a hero before. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But she never dealt with anything that supernatural.
We don't know that. We don't know anything about her life as a hero before. We just know where she ended up now, what she's doing now.
Yeah, she ended up drunk.
We don't know what kind of people she fought other than Kilgrave. Just know that was their biggest nuisance.
This is true. And Luke Cage, I can kind of get why Luke Cage and Daredevil were still skeptical about this. And the only reason why I kind of understand it is because especially with Daredevil, he's very religious, so he's not supposed to believe in magic and things like that. So it's out of his. That's why I
said the exception of Daredevil. But I'm talking about like aliens and shit was just there a few months ago. A sentient robot dropped a city on another city.
Well, that's a robot that went out of control. That's technology. So
yeah, but still, no one. You know that the Nordic gods exist because of Thor and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like your sense of this wanting to believe things should be further out the window, especially with those two. Yeah, Daredevil's going to be the stubborn one because of blah blah blah, but who cares? But like I said, the other sheriff would have been a bit more. I mean, Luke Cage fought someone who held a grudge with him for years out of a random cobbled together super suit that matches strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which that fight was ridiculous.
That fight was ridiculous. They probably should have saved something like that for season 2. But what do I know? Like a lot of people, Cottonmouth to me was the best villain in that show. But it was it was a little bit of a stretch to think that they don't believe that any of this is possible at all, considering
they're like, yeah, man, crazy shit's been going on. Maybe he did fight a dragon. One person could have said something close to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we had talked about it too, especially with things like what Luke Cage had gone through, and what Jessica Jones with her power, what they had gone through, like in the world that you believe in. I mean that you live in, where the Avengers and and just superheroes in general are a thing. Wouldn't it be
right? There's like other superheroes, like you got like Ant-Man popping up on the scene, and at one point he became gigantic at an airport.
Mm-hmm. Which you'd think somebody would have mentioned that.
You got two people frozen from the past. You got Bucky and you got Cap.
Yeah. So in other words,
Spider-Man running around.
Well, they might not know about Spider-Man yet. I mean, but he does.
How can you not? He would. Well, depending on when this take place, well, actually, no, they would still know something of Spider-Man.
I guess
he was already hearing about before he teamed up with Iron Man.
Yeah, this is true, but we don't really know, as far as the MCU as a whole, where the heck this takes place. We have no idea.
Well,
and
they would know because Spider-Man is another New York hero.
Right, exactly.
It's not that far.
No, exactly. He's in Queens, and they're in Hell's Kitchen in Harlem. Not too far away.
Other parts of New York,
they're not that far away. They're in the same state.
They probably don't know about him. They may or may not know about him in his current suit, but they would know about him in his older suit.
Right.
Because that's going to get anyone's attention. He was already a big deal before he met Tony Stark.
Even though he, still a total rookie, it was just vigilante and with spider powers, running around New York. But yeah, in the world that this is set in, their disbelief should be a little less than what it is. You know, you can't use that as a plot device. And I did try to defend it for a minute. I was like, maybe that's just just the writing. I mean, you could
but you can't do it. You can't do it for all three other people.
Right, right. And it's just that was handled very poorly. But as far as what did you think of the chemistry with everybody on screen once they met?
It was all over the place.
All right, care to elaborate?
You forgot? All right, it's my turn to go crazy and screw shit up. No, it's my turn to go crazy and screw shit up. No, I'm going to go crazy again because I'm taking my turn back.
Hey, they've never worked together with other people, so, well, except for, I wouldn't count Daredevil and Elektra actually working together, but.
I don't believe in your dragon bullshit, but I gotta talk to my dead girlfriend that was resurrected a few days ago.
Hey, he knew about the hand. He just didn't know what they were capable of because he didn't want to listen to Stick. Because if anybody,
I gotta push this cliche that her memories are still there.
Hey, he was still in love. Sometimes you don't want to let go, even though you should. But either way, it would have killed him. Even if she were to get her memories back earlier in the show, it still would have been a problem for him, because his mental state wasn't all there anyway. So just to find out that his ex-girlfriend is resurrected from the dead, the love of his life that almost killed him multiple times, it kind of makes me want to read the comic story of this, but still, I was a little happy about that, sad about how it was handled though, because you know me, I'm a romantic, I'm a softie. So, but in plus, he wants to save people, even if they don't always want to be saved. That's one of Daredevil's main flaws, But Stick.
And the other question I had is, where is Punisher in all this? I mean, I didn't expect him to be helping them out, but you can at least see him hear the other stuff that's going on, probably over a police scanner radio.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't mention.
To do anything.
They didn't mention anything. This is one of the few times that they didn't mention anything going on outside of what's happening where they are. There was no vague mention of what's going on in the in the MCU side of things, and there was no mention of anybody else that they've met along the way, like Daredevil and them. So I mean, not Daredevil and them, Punisher and them, and I was a little surprised by that, But I guess they wanted to keep all the focus on them.
Keep the main focus on the defenders, but
yeah,
at least I don't not be able to respond, but overheard the police chatter probably on a police scanner radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least one time, but it didn't happen. I just wish we had a clearer idea of when this actually takes place. And okay, so let's talk the fights. There was so many of them, including the infamous.
Some of them were boring.
Okay, which ones did you think were boring?
Huh?
Which ones did you think was boring?
What would you call it? The first fight with Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yes.
Because you knew exactly how it was going to go down.
Because they already showed it to you in the trailer.
Yeah, they really got to stop doing that.
I've seen that type of fight in other martial arts films before.
Exactly,
where the smaller guy appears to be doing nothing to the bigger guy, and then for some reason concentrates harder, and then he's able to get the upper hand.
Yeah. I mean, at least we knew beforehand what's up with Iron Fist, and he actually used his Iron Fist more than 3 times in his own show. At least it built up to something, and he didn't just use it sparingly a couple times. But hey, even though that fight was cliche, they had other ones that made up for it, including the infamous hallway fight where Daredevil has to wear a scarf because he doesn't want anybody to know who he is, and
at that point, with him fighting the way he is, it wouldn't be that hard to figure out.
Yeah, I mean the only one that would really, for justifiable reasons, have no idea who he is would be Luke Cage. That's it. He was in jail, so unless he's got people on the outside, just looking out for stuff, like that guy who's always in trouble, like I forgot that guy's name, that hustler dude, but yeah, Luke Cage out of all of them is the only one with justifiable reasons not to know who Daredevil is at all, or the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. So
they probably have found out after being up for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he was too busy. He was too busy getting coffee with Claire and trying to protect Harlem, and she was too busy trying to get him to just have his own life. Ah, man. But speaking of Claire and the other characters in the show, I feel like them having the screen time that they did. I still love Misty Knight. Still love Misty Knight, Claire, and what's that girl's name from Iron Fist? I forgot her name. Colleen. There you go. I feel like this time around, even though Colleen I think was the best thing about Iron Fist, I really like her development here, and I hope that one day we get to see all of them team up, like all the all the sidekicks, all the the ones in the background taking all the other hits, like Claire and the rest of them, actually team up and do something else, because there's so many ways they can go about it as far as I know, comic wise. So, and they had a bunch of Easter eggs about with that, but if I tried to mention all of them, we'd be here forever. So, and I probably couldn't anyway. But what did you think of the secondary characters like Foggy and Paige and all of them?
Well, they were there. You got to be like, hey, look, the people from the other thing are interacting with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like they contributed. They weren't just in background stuff. You don't think so?
Well, they started contributing later, but when in the first few episodes, they were just seeing each other. Like when I went to go meet up with Luke Cage in the jail or prison or whatever. But that's more like, hey, I'm this guy from this show, I'm talking to this guy from this show.
But I honestly, I like their development there too. I at first complained a little bit, just internally, about the fact that this was shorter than the other shows. But you know what? It makes sense. It really does, because you don't need 13 episodes for everything. After a while, certain things start to feel like filler.
This is supposed to be a intimate threat, so having it stretch over a few more episodes would just throw out the pacing.
Right. Like the switch from the first half of Luke Cage to the second half. I mean, don't get me wrong, still a good show, but you could definitely feel the difference.
Now, what I would like to see from this are small little team ups here and there throughout whoever has whatever season.
Well, Jessica Jones already. Sorry.
Yeah, like Jessica Jones teaming up with Matt Murdock in either show, whether it be his show or her show, if they get like another season.
Yeah, Jessica Jones already got greenlit for a second season. And we already know that Daredevil's getting to season 3, but
I would like for they were talking about it in the middle of Defenders. I like this actual season team up with Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Oh yeah,
like, a couple of times.
Yeah, me too. I did not know about their history in the comics together.
They're usually paired together.
Yeah, until like a few years ago, that's when I knew about it. But you know what? That means I should be paying attention more to the shelves at the comic book store, because their comics were all over the shelves before these shows even came out. Man, I would have been like, "What is Heroes for Hire?" I didn't find that out until Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, which I'd still say is one of the best. When they do eventually come together again, I'd like to see something like the girls team up again, because they do have a title called Daughters of the Dragon where all of them are present. So I'd like to see what they could do together, because it seemed like they were setting up or at least hinting to certain things if you go back and rewatch some of the shows. But honestly, yeah, Defenders was not perfect, but I wasn't expecting it to be. I was expecting to be enjoyable, which it was. I loved the music yet again, and the actors seemed like they had good chemistry together, and Danny Rand was a lot more tolerable this time around. You know? Even though they were right, he's still internally that 10-year-old kid looking for his mom. But you know what? With all the stuff that he's been through, I don't blame him. But he doesn't seem as bland or as uncomfortable as he did in his own show. So hopefully, when his show gets a green light for a second season, they have it. He's more on the ball, you know. As far as
I think it's just like go straight into him
and Luke Cage teaming up.
Heroes for Hire for their combined second season.
That would be dope. I think that would be dope if it was written well. Yeah. But you know what? We're just gonna see what happens in the future. Now we got Punisher to look forward to. And
well, let's go take a back seat, because I still got. I'm more looking forward to Ragnarok than Punisher season 1.
Yeah, no, it's totally understandable. Totally understandable. That looks so bizarre. I can't miss it. I cannot miss it. and that was just from the trailer, the 80s style trailer. All right, so we got my cuz back. We got our cousin Rick back.
Return appearance.
Yeah, and it didn't take too long either.
It's like 2 weeks. This is good turnaround for me.
All right. And if those of you want to hear his sultry voice a little more, check out our review with Hyo and Navjita about DuckTales 2017. We had a great time with that.
We had such a blast.
We had an awesome time with that. It was just beautiful. All right, so dude, what did you think of Defenders? Be honest.
The Defenders, I dug it for what it was, the street level Avengers. It was a nice coming together. It's basically Marvel basically did for TV what they did with the movies. Leading, because all the previous series were basically just leading up to this. People were looking forward to this once it was fully announced. I liked the way that they brought the characters together. It wasn't as forced. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Kind of like, like with the Avengers, I don't know. It felt forced, but it didn't. But this one didn't felt like it felt organic, because this one was working for, I'm trying to remember. I only watched it the one time. I'm trying to remember certain aspects of it.
Do you think it helps that we got to see these characters develop through a series of events as opposed to just a 2-hour film?
Oh yes, definitely, most definitely. It was better to see them grow as characters over time instead of just kind of having them rush to be, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it would be in a movie. Because, like you said, granted, with a series, you can do a lot more than you can in a 2+ hour film,
right,
etc.
Right. Okay. Do you think this redeemed Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist?
Funny thing, I still haven't seen Iron Fist. That's the one series I haven't seen. I know I should have watched it before I watched the Defenders, but I was just so amped for the Defenders. So, Iron Fist is a character that, if I can, in all honesty, I really didn't care about anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, I only know 2 things about him, is that he's got the magical powers and that he filled in for Daredevil at one point during Civil War. Mm-hmm. That's like the most, like I said, I didn't really, I know I'll probably hear shit for it. Like, how are you going to watch the Defenders when I don't care. I was just looking forward to Defenders for characters that I actually did care about. Like, I've been a fan of Jessica Jones since Alias. A Daredevil since forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, Luke Cage. Come on now, who doesn't like Luke Cage?
Right.
So, but it's just like I can't really say anything. I mean, I've heard about the controversy following the show or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it, so I really can't answer that redeemable question.
Do you feel like the characters altogether had chemistry though?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Once that first scene where you actually see them fighting all together in the restaurant was a beautiful scene. Mm-hmm. I do kind of hate that they tried to force in the hallway scene that they do in every day. Like, it felt like, okay, maybe this will be good, and it was just like, no.
Hey, I like the hallway scenes, but they become predictable once you do them in every
Exactly.
show.
There's no need to do them all the damn time. Like, don't get me wrong. That first Daredevil one is probably one of my favorite action scenes in a Marvel anything ever.
And I love the Luke Cage one.
Yes.
I love the Luke Cage one. Wu-Tang fits too...
It
fits too well.
Oh my God. It was just...
And they had a Wu-Tang moment in Defenders.
Yeah. I don't know who's picking the music for these shows, or those 2 shows, but well done knowing how to fit it in just right. Right.
But what about the secondary characters like Foggy and Paige? And
they served their purpose. They were there because the main characters, they still needed them. Save for Stick, because what he did at the end of towards the end of the series was kind of a little fucked up. Well, effed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he is Stick. He is that way. He knows. All right. He don't care. His whole thing was, we're about to fight a war. You got to be ready. You have friends now. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, and I don't want to do too much spoilers.
Yeah, well, I mean, if people are listening to this, they probably watched the whole thing by now. If you were listening to this and you haven't watched The Defenders, what the hell is your problem?
But honestly, this is one of those things where you definitely have to watch at least Daredevil and Iron Fist to get the hands part in all this. But if you want to see how everyone else connects, you have to watch all the shows. You gotta watch all the series. Like, I was just talking to my aunt, and she had just finished watching Defenders, but she wanted to know what Jessica Jones' whole deal was in this, and why her and Luke Cage were so close, and what's the deal with. Well,
because they had coffee.
Yes, they had coffee. That scene. Marvel, what are you doing?
Hey, it's Netflix,
it's
Marvel.
Netflix, I know, but jeez. Man, but hey, I'm not mad at either one of them, all right? Dude was in jail for a while, all right? He know he had a girl back home. So, and she don't take a lot of crap.
Neither one of them did.
And you know what? And I don't want to make it seem like I'm pandering, but I love strong female characters.
Who doesn't?
I love strong female characters.
And they don't always have to be tortured souls, James Cameron.
You know, and it really warms my heart that every one of the female characters had a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it was small. And I'm not just talking about, like smashing heads or anything like that. I'm talking about being there for the core character, adding some much needed help. Like Claire has been there since the beginning.
She's in everything.
So big ups to Rosario Dawson doing your thing.
Can I say though, I feel like I am gonna go back and watch Iron Fist eventually, mainly because I was digging Colleen Wing so much in this show.
You know, I love the Daughter of the Dragon. She was cool. If they gave, because there's a series of comics called the Daughters of the Dragon where they're supposed to where her and who else, and Hellcat and
Misty.
I mean, Misty are all teaming up.
There was another name for that series too. I can't remember. Damn it.
Yeah, I
Because I don't think it was Hellcat. I don't think it was Patsy Trish Walker.
Yeah.
It was just Colleen Wing and Misty Knight.
Right.
Who, when I saw her arm come off, I was like, finally.
Oh man, I was like, are they gonna do that?
Because remember,
do that?
in Luke Cage, when she got shot in the arm, I'm like, that's not how she's gonna lose her arm, is it? Like something happened, some type of weird infection, and it happened. And when this dude cut off her arm, I'm like, oh, finally.
They wanted to make it more intense.
But
now, I've never read her comics though. Is that how she lost her arm?
Not 100% on that. Like I said, not like there's corners of the Marvel universe that I have a peripheral knowledge of.
I gotcha.
Her character, not so. I know. I want to say, don't quote me on this, please. I want to say that her arm is Stark Tech, but I'm not sure.
But you know what? Every time I saw like her on a comic cover, she reminded me of like a Foxy Brown movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of the fro and her attitude.
Yeah, no, she was definitely a Pam Grier based character.
Word. Mm-hmm. Just like Luke Cage was kind of like a throwback to blaxploitation.
Oh, he most definitely was.
So it really shows that these characters had good chemistry. You could probably tell that they might hang out when the cameras aren't rolling.
Oh yeah.
The tension between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, though, they kept going to that like every once in a while, especially like during the fight. She's like, "Remember this?"
Yeah,
just like old times. I'm like, y'all ain't we ain't got no time for y'all to get
exactly
coffee right now.
Exactly.
And plus, technically, he's still with he's
Claire.
With Claire, so you gotta be very, for lack of a better word, clear on what you want right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because it even seen that scene at the end where he was like, "Yeah, we'll get coffee sometime." It's like he still has some type of feelings for Jessica.
Hey, of course, if you read the comics, the only reason why I even know about Jessica Jones is because I read a couple of new Avengers comics, and she was part of that.
In Alias, she ends up picking up Luke Cage in a bar.
Yeah.
They have sex.
Yep.
Etc. Etc. Then like that comic got canceled. Come to find out, she's pregnant, and then this is when like the Avengers were becoming more like Justice League in the Marvel universe. Like it was more heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Like this is when Wolverine became an Avenger, Spider-Man became an Avenger,
right?
Etc. Stuff like that. And then Luke Cage became an Avenger. They come to find out, Jessica Jones, she's pregnant from that one night stand. And then they end up getting married later on in one of the new Avengers annual and stuff. So, yeah, like, that's basically her role in the... Where was I going? I went off the damn rails and lost track of...
But what about Elektra's part in all this with the hand? The whole black...
Black... Oh, damn it.
Dang. Oh, man. Black Sky.
That's it.
Black Sky.
I'd say we're back.
That whole Black Sky thing. Did that really I like Elektra, and I like this version of Elektra. I still feel as if she should have gotten her own arc in Daredevil instead of her sharing the spotlight with Punisher. But
keep in mind they were just introducing the character too.
True.
There's not that much. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like Elektra is a character that isn't known.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Yeah, granted, people know her from that 2003 Abomination, then her own solo film.
Bad movie.
But this was her intro. They just want to reintroduce her in a different light. They couldn't keep don't get me wrong. When it comes to superhero origins, they will rehash certain ones to death. Looking at you, Batman and Spider-Man.
I hear you.
But this one, it was a new, it was a new take on her.
Right.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm. So as far as the hand goes, did you like the new edition with Sigourney Weaver?
I did, and I like the fact that the hand was as multicultural as it is. Mm-hmm. I dig that, Yeah. But I do hate the fact that this character got Marvel. That's the thing about their bad guys; they kill them off way too soon.
Right.
That's the one thing. Because I was looking forward to seeing Alexandra in other things. Mm-hmm. I figured if there was when there's I know there is going to be a season 2 of Iron Fist, maybe she'd rear her head again in that. But no, when it comes to certain villains, I feel like in the Marvel universe, the only villains they haven't killed are Loki and Kingpin and Vulture. That's it. Every other one is we'll never see them again. They need to stop with that. Because I was looking for... I dug the hand in this. Pretty much. They were just... It was nice to see something that wasn't... I don't know how to say this.
What wasn't the norm?
Yeah. Because, we've seen the aliens thing. We've seen... you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. It was it was kind of Hydra-esque, but not. Because the whole secret society type thing, it felt, I don't know how to say it. It was kind of refreshing.
Refreshing? Okay.
For the most part. That it wasn't in every facet of everything, It just dealt with them trying to get Danny Rand.
Right.
They didn't have to put seeds in every other little aspect of what's called.
I hear you.
I felt like that came out wrong. I felt,
Nah, it's okay, man. And don't worry. Through the magic of editing, you can make that sound a whole lot better. But if I had already done my review. Big shout out to Nabjita. I honestly feel like when they do this again with season 2, because there should be a season 2.
I'm pretty sure there'll be a Defenders 2. I wouldn't put it past it.
There's gotta be a lot. There's a lot of comics they could pull from.
Oh yeah.
From the Defenders title, and I'm not just talking about the title that came out right before this event.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the fact that there's so much they could do with Defenders, because this isn't the original team. This is
not even nobody in the original team was in this show.
Right. So they just made this part up with the characters, the street level characters, because they can't do it with the movie characters. Yeah. And
also they don't have the rights to one of them.
Yeah. True. And even though we would like to see all of them eventually cross over, I would at least like to get more references to where the heck we are as far as timeline. We mentioned this earlier. We have no idea where in the timeline, as far as the MCU, this is all taking place.
You are so right, because it feels like the street level stuff could easily take place over a year. When I say, I'm talking maybe the year after the New York incident. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that all of this is taking place, 5 years over the span of 5 years?
Yeah.
Man, well, we don't know. How long was Luke Cage in there again? No, he wasn't in there that damn long.
Nah, it was like what? A few months?
Give or take.
Yeah. At least that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Because then again, Luke Cage did premiere around this time last year. So
it was November or something, right? Yeah.
So it really just seemed, a lot of it seemed kind of soon. I wish they would give us some sort of timeline to go by. Because what do we have? We had Luke Cage, then 2017 we had Iron Fist, and now we got Defenders. So I would just like to know when all this is taking place.
And keep in mind too, the shows are just the cinematic television Netflix universe is only 2 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's still 2016 in that reality.
Yeah.
Because like it did seem like the Battle for New York or whatever did take some time. I mean, to retract what I previously said, it doesn't seem like it could have when this whole street level stuff started.
Yep.
It could have been easily 3 years after the incident happened. So who knows? And maybe it is still 2016 in that reality.
Maybe. It's just getting hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It's just really getting hard to keep up.
Especially with because you heard about the whole thing with Spider-Man, that's supposed to take place in 2020 or some nonsense.
Well, yeah, because they did that in order to stop the controversy about the whole few years later thing, and it didn't even seem like. Wait a minute, so you're in the past? Is that what you're saying about these movies? They're in the past?
Well, they retconned it so that little kid in Iron Man 2 that he saves from the robots is Peter Parker. They retconned that. So, yeah, it's a right con.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Little bit of a stretch there.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because that was 2010? That was 7 years ago? Yeah. And he's supposed to be 16? It makes sense.
All right, but whatever. Hopefully, we'll get some clarity as the time goes by because we've still got a lot to go on in this universe, cinematic and otherwise. Yeah, especially next year. I'm amped for The Punisher because that looks like it's going to be much better than the first movie. The second one, Warzone, is a personal favorite of mine because that second Punisher movie just balls to the wall crazy. But this Punisher show is looking like it's going to be the best Punisher we've seen so far. And that's including the Dolph Lundgren one. All right. Well, thank you, Cuz, for joining us again on another podcast. Hope I didn't sound too much like a moron. I'm still getting used to reviewing things. It's all good, man. It's all good. This isn't for anything serious. We're just talking about comic book characters here. I know, but still. That's our thoughts on the Defenders, Marvel's Defenders. Let us know what you guys think. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you overall hate it? Do you feel it was disjointed? Let us know in the comments below. And we will talk to you on the next broadcast. Peace. Love, and never be normal.
Later.